I'm looking for somebody, and I want you to name a federal law enforcement official, anyone you want, that you would personally gift to send on a nice, relaxing fall getaway. To hang out with the very people who spent a decade running influence operations against our elections. Take your time. I'll wait. Pick your winner. You got somebody in mind? Great, because Donald Trump already did the hard work for us, and it is the guy currently running your FBI. By the way, a guy who's already known for making every work trip an excuse for a vacation. And yes, Kash Patel, our FBI director, is reportedly headed to Moscow and then St. Petersburg mid-October, likely the 14th and 15th of October, which just so happens to be roughly 3 weeks ahead of November 3rd, the date of our midterms. And that would make Kash Patel the first sitting FBI director to set foot in Russia since 2013. And by the way, a side note, who was the FBI director in 2013? Robert Mueller, who then went on to run the entire investigation into the Russian election interference. The irony is so thick that it could possibly replace my current hair product and actually tame this coif. And I assure you, this has a mind of its own. But Patel's host is expected to be the FSB, which, a refresher if you don't know how Russia works, they are the direct institutional heir to the KGB. Like if you're looking at an org chart or a badge number, literally they fall right under the KGB. Now, nobody will say if Kash Patel is actually meeting Putin. Reporters have asked the Kremlin to just confirm or deny the trip, and a spokesperson delivered the most Kremlin non-answer in recorded history, quote, "These kinds of visits usually happen behind closed doors." Oh, good. Closed doors. My favorite kind of FBI to KGB diplomacy. Totally reassuring, very normal, right ahead of our elections. And let's not forget that Russia is currently supplying Iran, the country we are at war with weapons and support. And I also want you to understand again who is taking this trip. This is the same Kash Patel who has spent years on television calling the entire Russia investigation a hoax. He literally wrote it into a book and built his entire career on it. And now he is personally flying to Moscow to be hosted by the successor agency to the KGB. This is a man completing the full circle of this loop on your dime just 3 weeks ahead of an election that Donald Trump has already asserted is rigged by foreign influence. And I've got to ask you guys, should Congress have a real enforceable power over an FBI director's foreign travel, and especially who's paying for it? Or does Kash Patel just get to keep doing whatever the hell he wants on our dime until finally someone in the Trump regime finally says no? Drop me a comment and let me know. Because aside from this election brouhaha, which is important, I also want to look at the way Patel travels, because there is a playbook here. The Kash Patel foreign trip playbook has several steps, and it just loops over and over again. You fly somewhere controversial on the taxpayer dime, you get photographed doing something extremely stupid while you're there, the Milan Olympics, chugging beer with the hockey team, flying to go see your girlfriend sing the national anthem places, FBI jet idling on the tarmac most of the whole time of these trips, while his own former deputy director called the security meetings excuse, quote, patently ridiculous. Yes, these security meeting facades for his vacations are ridiculous according to his own people. But Patel faces zero consequences, which allows him to go right back to step one, which brings us to his next trip, Moscow. He's already doing all of this under a congressional spending probe, under investigation for travel spending. So the solution, more travel. Bold strategy there. But there are people that are calling him out, and I'm going to go once again to Laura Loomer. Yes, Trump's favorite chronically online loyalist, and I find myself quoting her way more than I should. But when she's right, she's right. And when I can use a MAGA loyalist's own words against the Trump regime, you bet your rubles I will do it. And Laura Loomer said our FBI director, who was an unregistered lobbyist for Qatar, is heading to Russia as the White House prepares to impose more sanctions on Russia, which is supplying Iran with weapons to murder U.S. soldiers. Nothing to see here. End quote. Thank you, Laura Loomer. Yes, the man in charge of investigating foreign influence on America is about to go get hands-on foreign influence experience on the clock, on our dime, hosted by the very people who are allegedly doing the influencing. And that's why I'm going to ask that you hit that notification bell, because I bet you didn't see this one covered anywhere near this hard on the channels that used to call themselves the news.